Discretion is advised. So Mama Black.
This program contains language and sequences some viewers may find disturbing.
Right! New tonight, the United States Postal Service warns of a major fraud scheme targeting the elderly. WMC Action News 5's Jessica Holly joins us live to tell you about a suspect in this case and how you can protect your loved ones from falling victim. Jessica?
Joe, this is the guy right here. There's now a $10,000 reward for any information that leads to a conviction. Now, according to investigators, he's accused of swiping debit cards and credit cards right from the hands of the elderly. It starts with a phone call.
Hi, this is Erin. I'm a fraud investigator.
The U.S. Postal Service says a woman then contacted the unsuspecting elderly victims by phone, claiming to be a fraud investigator from their bank. She explained there was an issue with the person's debit or credit card, and their information was now compromised. To remedy the issue, all the victim needed to do was provide their PIN to the woman and place the card in the mail. Once the crook convinced the victims to hand over personal information like debit PIN numbers and even their home address, they would simply go to that address, open up the mailbox, and grab what they were after. Not long after one of the credit cards was picked up from a mailbox, this man was captured on a surveillance camera leaving a store after using the card. The man in the Chicago Bulls hat seen leaving in this white four-door Cadillac is just one of the suspects postal investigators believe is behind the scheme targeting the Memphis area. A man investigators say preys on the elderly to get access to their money. Again, here's one more look at the suspect released today by postal investigators. Now, as a reminder, never give out any personal information over the phone. If you ever question if it's truly the bank calling you, simply hang up and call the bank back yourself.
On an arrest in Burlington that's connected to a high-profile case in High Point. Police found 65-year-old Jack Little dead in his Army-Navy store earlier this month in High Point.
Police say 16 guns were stolen during that event. 3 people now face charges in connection with his death. But last night, Burlington police responded to a call about a man waving a gun around at the Motel 6 on Hanford Road. Police arrived and arrested 19-year-old Damian Williams. Now, according to warrants, police say the gun Williams was waving was Jack Little's personal property. High Point police say they believe the gun was taken from Little's store. Burlington police charged Williams with possession of a stolen firearm and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon.
Are you Mr. Coleman?
Yes, sir, I am.
Mr. Coleman, I'm Judge O'Rourke. I'm going to read you your rights, and then I'm going to talk to you about the charges that are placed on you. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right and obligation to be present at your trial. If you fail to show up for your trial on your general sessions charges, they'll place failure to appear charges against you, and you could face an additional 1 to 5 years in jail. If you fail to show up on your magistrate court charges, they will try you in your absence and issue a warrant for your arrest. You have the right to a trial by jury. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be provided for you through the public defender's office. If the charges that are placed on you are discharged, dismissed, not prosecuted, or if you're found not guilty, you have the right to have your record expunged or wiped clean from these charges. Do you understand so far?
Yes, sir.
You're being charged tonight, Mr. Coleman, with driving under suspension. First offense, failure to maintain insurance, having a vehicle registration violation, escaping from custody, and resisting arrest. The escape from custody and the resisting arrest charges are general sessions charges, which means you have an additional right. You have the right of a preliminary hearing. It's evident based on what happened today that you are a flight risk. Therefore, I'm placing you under a no bond on those 2 charges, and I'm sending you to the circuit court for a bond hearing.
Can I say something, sir?
Sure, you can say what you'd like to.
Like, if I have a house arrest, would that, be able to take...
That'll come after the circuit court decides what to do about your bond. But meantime, I'm putting you under a no bond on these two charges because you are, in my opinion, definitely a flight risk based upon what happened today with the officer, but then you fled from him, and they searched for you for hours and hours and hours.
I passed out in the woods, sir.
Well, that's not the point. The point was you were under arrest, and you were allegedly fled the scene from the arrest, and then they had to dog bite you, and then behind that, you resisted the officers. They were trying to place you.
I did not do that, sir.
That's fine. You have the right to
look at me, sir.
You have the right to plead not guilty. I have no problem with that. Okay? But in the meantime, it appears as if, based upon the charges, and I have spoken to the officer about the original escape, you took off running into the woods after you knew you were under arrest, based upon what he testified.
I had a panic attack, sir. I'm sorry.
Well, that's fine. Your panic attack's going to cost you a no bond.
It's just a bench warrant, man. I didn't understand.
It's not just a bench warrant.
I mean, that's what it was, but...
It was just a bench warrant. That's correct.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not real.
Well, you'll have some time to think about how you want to deal with this at this point. So you're under a no bond on those two general sessions charges. Now, would you like a preliminary hearing?
Yes, sir. Hey, can you tell me how much I would have to pay for the bond on the other charges, like in total?
Well, the other charges, the bond's $1,318, so I mean the bonds would only be $131. Now, I don't know about the bench warrant. I don't know what the status on the bench warrant is. That's totally separate from these charges. But you can't post a bond on the no bond charge
until
you go to the circuit court. Okay?
Can I ask, like, why are they bringing the news team and trying to make me look so bad? Like,
sir, the news has the right to cover any story they wish to cover.
Like, but they had like 30 men on.
Can you make 1019 with 83 when you use cancel? Chuck or Chris? Chris, it's advising. In office 22. In office 22. That will be the transfer period. 83 copies. One black shirt, one white shirt, jacket.
Been tracking down two men suspected of attempted robbery at the First Citizens Bank on Ramsey Street. Investigators say the men in these surveillance pictures held up a woman who's trying to make a deposit at an ATM on February 12th. Police say one of the men told the woman he was armed with a gun. At some point, the men ran towards a shopping center behind the bank, and the woman was able to complete her transaction. Authorities report the men were seen on surveillance footage casing the ATM area before the encounter with the woman. If you recognize these men, you're urged to contact Crime Stoppers.
To that breaking news out of North Charlotte, police investigating after a robbery and kidnapping took place at a home on Thera Drive.
Police say one person was robbed and a separate woman kidnapped. NBC Charlotte's Richard now live on the scene right now. So, Richard, what can you tell us?
That's pretty much what we know at this time, but let's take a look at the scene. Look over my shoulder, those lights on, that's where this all happened. Short time ago, police just telling us that what happened was someone came to this house, robbed the place. There was at least one round that hit inside, that hit the building. There are other rounds, shell casings on the ground that police have been looking at. And at the same time, someone was taken from this house. A woman was taken from this house over to another location. Now, the car that people gave the police information on, the description of a car, was later found just a short time ago on Todd Road. That is in West Charlotte, right off of Roslow's Ferry Road. Police say they have that car. Now, we did ask police if there's any information that we can give the public to try to help them find the person responsible for all of this. They said at this time we have the names and information on all of the people involved. We do not need the public's help. They also said that this whole incident is probably domestic violence related. Of course, as we continue to talk to them and get more information, we'll give it to you. But that's the scene right here in North Charlotte. Richard Devane, NBC Charlotte.